everybody, I'm Robert. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. Today, Tom and I thought we'd just go for a little ride around in the 620 and do a Q&A. Yep. You guys know Tom Stamp, at Tom Stamp.
The one and only.
The one and only. Oh, look at this. We got deer. Oh, gosh.
Switch the
flashbacks to 675 LT Spider.
We've both been there.
He hit the E46?
Yeah.
That was nice. And
it was.
And then and you were right front.
Yeah, same as you.
Yeah, we were both right front.
Yeah.
My damage was nowhere near as expensive as his. I think mine was only 60 or 70K.
Yeah, mine was nowhere near that.
But anyhow, guys, we're out in the 620R. We thought we'd do just a quick talk about it. There's been so many questions about this car. One of the questions later on is, how is this McLaren's most exciting cars, or one of their most exciting cars, yet their least hype? And I think it's a damn good question. I'm looking forward to talking about that. But Tom Stamp has the questions from Instagram and YouTube, and we'll go through them and see what you guys think. What do you got, Tom?
Yeah, so I've got all the questions here on the phone. So thank you all for asking the questions on the Instagram and on the YouTube. But we've got so many questions, we might split this into two videos. But we're going to do cost and reliability is the first section, okay? So first question, how many laps have you done so far in the ring in the 620R?
Well, I got the car brand new, and it was actually delivered to me on a trailer right to the gate of the track, and that was lap 1, and since then I've done about 120 laps. So right now the car's done about 120 laps at the Nürburgring, and whereas compared to some of the other cars, that's not a lot, considering this is the first time I've ever driven the car on the road aside from those laps on the Nürburgring.
Really?
Yep.
There you go, big world exclusive.
And it has 2,800 kilometers on it now.
Yeah?
Yep.
Not bad, okay. So, a lot of people have asked about the reliability of the car so far because you didn't break it in. Like, obviously, those that saw the video know that we got it to Skylanders track day and took it straight out.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't break in many of my cars. I know people say, oh, you need to do that. I firmly believe that this day and age, the cars come ready to run and ready to operate, and I've not had any car that's had any problem from anything in terms of reliability from what you might get from a break-in procedure. So I think that, first of all, the cars had no problems at all. We had a check engine light due to an O2 sensor that was replaced, and that was taken care of immediately. And other than that, the car's been perfect, so I can't really say there's been any issues.
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah, it has.
Done quite a lot of taxi laps in this.
Knock on wood, don't say it too loud, but it's been really good.
Moving swiftly on, do you think this car will hold its value, or will it depreciate?
It's a really good question. I mean, we know that McLaren has an issue with retaining value as a whole. Obviously, some of their hypercar stuff, the P1 has done really well. The Senna's, depending on your market, okay, definitely not great. Like I said, that's very market dependent. And I, for some reason, don't expect this to hold its value for what it is. I really wish it would, considering it's such a limited car.
Yeah.
But I don't have high hopes for it. I guess I wish it will, but I think we're going to see typical McLaren depreciation here.
I mean, that leads quite nicely on to the next question. So, again, about depreciation. Do you care? Because it seems like many YouTubers hope to lose no money on cars like this.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people hope to lose no money on a car like this, and I certainly do. I mean, we're using this car as a taxi and running it on the Nürburgring, and doing a lot of fun stuff with it, and I'm really enjoying it. But I'm definitely not making a profit with it by operating it like this, and I think that it means that I definitely wish that it wouldn't lose money, and I'm luckily in a position where, for me, in the sense that let's see if we can go here. In the sense that, see, I don't know how to drive on the street. In the sense that I don't rely on YouTube to make money. I guess I wouldn't be your typical YouTuber in that regard.
No.
But no, I don't want it to lose money. I do care if it loses money. I think if anybody is like, oh, I don't care, then they're not watching after their money the right way. Yeah. I firmly believe that in a lot of cases, the more money people have, the more they watch after it.
Probably.
So I do care. I don't want it to lose money, but I'm not going to hold my breath that it's going to retain value.
Okay. All right, moving on. The running costs, are they the same as the 600 and the 720S? Like, what's your experience with that so far?
Yeah, so I would say so far the running costs are quite on par with the two. The only thing that I have noticed is that the car gives so much more confidence than either the 620 or the 720S on track that you end up braking later, you trail brake further, and so you eat up your tires a little bit more, and you eat up your brakes more. I would say on this 600 LT, I was able to get about 70 to 75 laps on a set of brake pads, and on this I'm getting 55, maybe 60 on a set of brake pads, and that's because you truly are braking later with this car.
Yeah.
The car's more stable under braking, so you take it deeper into the turn, and you notice that the consumables go a little bit faster. Also, the front tires, I mean, we're working on that right now. I think we'll talk about this a little later, but the front tires are going a heck of a lot faster as well. We're seeing that the front tires are kind of getting knocked out. I've done some sessions under 30 laps, and I've got new front tires. And the front tires on the 600, I was able to get up over 60 laps, so twice the consumption on the front tire.
Makes a big difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And this next question is quite comical. I know it's something that we've personally joked about before. Are you ever worried that this car will catch on fire?
You know, what's interesting is it's a funny question, and people talk about it, but I can't get with that, because the further I read that question was because that's a problem with McLarens.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's a point when people come up to me and have said, well, what do you think about Lamborghinis always catching on fire? What do you think about Ferraris always catching on fire? And there's a point that I say, guys, I don't necessarily believe that every McLaren catches on fire, or that every Ferrari. I think there was talks about different bluing problems with the 458 Italia and stuff like that. Obviously, when one of these cars catches on fire, you read about it. It's all over the news. Just the other day on one of these roads over here, I was driving to the office, and there was a guy with this early 2000s, I'm not going to give too much detail, but his car was on fire. And I helped the guy with a car completely engulfed in flames, and that doesn't make me think that those cars catch on fire. And you didn't see it in the news because it wasn't a LaFerrari, it wasn't a P1, it wasn't a Senna, it wasn't a 620R, so you guys didn't see it. Cars catch on fire. I don't think that McLarens are specifically prone to it. There's just some high-profile cases of it happening.
Yeah, I think that's very true. It's very fair. Alright, so that leads us now onto the next section of the video, which is performance.
Yes, performance.
And let's kick it off with the best question in this entire section. Sound system on the 620R versus the GT2.
You know, so a lot of people make fun of me because this car has the upgraded Bowers & Wilkins super duper sound system, and it drives me nuts because I think on a track car you really don't need a big sound system, but I got it, and it was partially because it was delivered that way, and I really wasn't too impressed with it. Fought it, tried not to get it, but it happened. And then I did the road trip with the GT2, and I talked about how great the sound system was. I haven't turned this one on yet.
No.
Fabi got in the car and he hooked up his phone and he fired it up, but I haven't even connected my phone to it. I don't even know if I could give you that comparison. So what I promised to do, we're going to invite like 4 or 5 people. We're going to do a side-by-side sound test, 675 LT because that has the upgraded sound system, versus 620R because it has the Bowers & Wilkins, versus the GT2 because I've already said it has a good sound system. We're going to do a triple test. We're going to all rank the car, each car based on what one we think has the best sound system, and not talk about it, report it live on the video, and we'll let you know what car ranks the top in the sound system department.
There we go, so exciting news to come. And what are people's reactions before and after riding in this car?
Do you know, a lot of people, when we would do it as a taxi, would book this car because they say, I want to ride in a McLaren. Yeah. That's how it was with the 720, that's how it was with the 600 LT. And really, people already had high expectations for the car, but I had people that would go in the GT2, and look, the GT2 is faster. Not only the car, but Tim is a faster driver than me, so he's out giving people crazy laps in the GT2. And I was going definitely quick. I'm not going to say I was going slow in this, but people would get out and say, you know what, the excitement of this car, the roof scoop, you can feel everything that the chassis does, no matter which seat you're in. I would say the feedback from people was over the top. People loved it.
Yeah, not very true.
And I really think that it was remarkable how much people liked it. There was a couple people that we would get down to the straightaway and they'd say, Robert, just go again.
Yeah,
I'm not done. Just go again. And I think we did that 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And it was pretty cool to see that people were just genuinely excited about the car.
Okay, cool. So what are your ideas on the front end grip and how to make it like you want it?
Yeah, so I think it probably talks about what I would talk about sometimes. The McLarens will understeer and different things like that. And the 620 was one of the better cars from the factory, but I won't say that it was, you know, great by any means.
Yeah.
It was definitely good. It was definitely good, but compared to the GT2 or maybe one of the Shermer builds, and it wasn't fantastic. And so we've started doing a lot of work. I've done 4 alignments to the car now, and each time we're just adjusting different things. And you know what a lot of people don't understand is you can adjust rear end grip actually to give you front end grip. You can work the balance that way. And so I've been back and forth front to rear, and I've tremendously increased the camber on the front. I'm at 3.6 degrees of camber on the front axle right now. I'm at 2.6 degrees of camber on the rear axle, and that's given me a very nice balance. It's given me great feedback, and it works very well in the dry and the wet. The next thing I'm going to actually do is start playing with the sway bar. I'm going to start playing with the rear sway bar to let the car load up that front outside tire, and that's going to be my next project once we get some good weather in the spring.
Cool.
So I will do a full video on my setup on this car, from alignment, camber, caster, toe, all the way down to the sway bar settings we do. And I'm also going to change the front springs because I'm not 100% happy with the stiffness of the front springs. I will go into full detail on that though.
Okay. So is the 620R faster than the 600 LT on the ring?
Yes, I believe that it is. You guys will see there was a test done recently where the 600 LT ended up being faster than the 620R around Hockenheim, but the 720S was also faster than the 765. I have to ask what was going on. Were there temperature differences, track condition differences? What was the exact reason for this discrepancy in lap times and everything like that? And my take on it is, me personally driving, absolutely, this car is faster than the 600 LT around the Nürburgring. And I think it has to do with the stability of the car and the confidence that the car gives you, because you can brake later with it. You can trail brake further because it's more stable. I've always said the 600 LT is an absolute pleasure because it's playful, it's fun to drive. But when you're working on all-out speed, that playfulness, that excitement is lost time. I've always said smooth is fast, fast is smooth. And I think that really is what this car allows you to do, is to be smooth and to be fast. And that's why I think that it is, for me, definitely faster. I know that if I go back on videos pushing at a similar pace, I'm always quicker in this car.
Okay, right, the next question then. Corner speed compared to the GT2RS.
The corner speed between the 620R and the GT2RS, we don't even need to talk about it.
No.
The GT2 is just faster, and it's okay. McLaren knows it, Porsche knows it, everybody knows the GT2 around the turn is just faster than this. It has to do with just mechanical grip, and that's okay. That's the way that it is. The GT2 and this are in different categories, in my opinion. This is a raw track car, an exciting track car. McLaren really wanted front end feedback and excitement, and they achieved that.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a big one. There's been a lot of questions about the roof scoop. Obviously, I mean, I personally like it, but there's questions about, is it worth it for the power gains, or power gains you don't get?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you buy a roof scoop for power gains. In fact, McLaren has never advertised the roof scoop as making power. It's simply for the look and the sound, that's it. I don't think with our mic being down here that you can hear it so much.
Yeah, you can't.
But in here, you hear the intake sound, and then you hear the roof scoop. And I think, to be honest with you, I wouldn't own this car without it.
It sounds like you've got Darth Vader sat on your shoulder.
Yeah, I would not own this.
It's
675 LT, I wouldn't own the 675 LT without a roof scoop. And the 620R, I wouldn't own the 620R without a roof scoop. Cool. I had a 600 without a roof scoop. It was because I knew we were going to taxi it. I knew we were going to drive the hell out of it. Yeah. And I knew we were going to end up needing to sell the car, and I wasn't so worried. But this is a car that I know I want to keep long term, and it's a car I want to drive for me for fun. And the roof scoop, hands down, it's a must.
I think it adds a lot to the experience, for sure.
It does.
Okay, how is
now wait a second. Let's see if I can navigate another intersection. Okay, I got this. People are gonna say, "Where's your turn signal?" All right, guys, bear with me. We're learning how to drive these cars on the road.
How is this different to the GT4 race car?
Well, a lot of people know that this is inspired by the GT4 race car, and a lot of times I'll even say it's a race car for the road and different things like that. The reality is that it is a road car, so there's obvious things like a full interior that you have to deal with, airbags and crash bars, and a lot of weight. Really, this car is heavy. The suspension in the 620R, you had two options. You could take the GT4 or the motorsport race suspension is what they called it, the motorsport suspension, or you could take the same suspension that the 600 LT has, And when you have the same suspension as the 600 LT, I don't see the point.
No.
I really don't see the point at going with the same suspension as the 600 LT. This car is designed to be a track car that you can drive on the road to the track and then track. And the biggest thing that this has is obviously your S-ducts in the bonnet and the nose, and that brings another channel of downforce and air management, gets a nice clean airflow up over the car. But the biggest thing is that it has the suspension that's inspired from the GT4 car. I won't tell you that it has the GT4 suspension. You have to be very careful. It's made by the same company, set up and designed by the same company, but the spring rates are going to be softer, because if we were sitting here driving on GT4 suspension, we would be just knocking our teeth out right now. And so obviously we have differences, but we do have fully adjustable rebound, compression. We have full ride height adjustability with the suspension. And that gives us the ability to tune the car exactly the way we want. I can set up the suspension so that when I get on the throttle out of the back, I can get the back to settle down. I can tune it so the front, the speed of the weight transfer goes front to rear at different rates, and you can truly customize how everything is set up so that it feels the way you want it to. And to me, that makes it the perfect car.
Yeah. Cool, yeah. Now this brings us down to the second to last question.
Okay.
Did you spec the telemetry pack?
Yes, the car has the telemetry pack, and no, I wouldn't bother. I haven't even turned it on, to be honest with you. I turn on the GoPro, and I call that good enough. And the reason is that McLaren is still putting, 480 resolution cameras in for their telemetry, and I'm not that big into lap timing. We have race navigators if we want to do telemetry and things like that. So it does have it, but I don't use it, and I probably wouldn't. I don't even think I'll ever turn it on.
I don't think you will either. All right, so last question, big finale. How is this McLaren's best car but least hyped?
Yeah, I don't know. When I found out about this car 2 years before it was even mumbled about, and I was telling him, you guys, this is going to be, for me, the perfect car. It's the concept of, like, what I was excited about the Senna being a great track car, but even better because adjustable suspension, adjustable ride height, McLaren support, and the fact that we can adjust the rear wing. They give you all the figures. If you adjust the ride height this much, it changes your aero balance that much, and it gives the ultimate adjustability to the track-oriented owner. And ever since I heard about the car, I was saying, you guys need to push this. This is so cool. This is so cool. We need to promote this. And me saying we, not even being McLaren, like, this needs to be promoted. This is so cool. And you never heard a mumble about it. And so in the back of your mind, you're thinking, is this thing even getting built? What's happening? And then all of a sudden it came out. And I said, okay, guys, mine's coming. It's on its way. And they're like, what's a 620R? You're getting a Caterham?
Yeah, literally, yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm getting a McLaren. And they're like, oh, well, what's a 620R?
It's funny you say that, because I googled 620.
Yeah.
And it came up with Caterham, yeah.
And so I have no idea why McLaren didn't promote this car to its fullest, because I think it's something that could have really been exciting. By the time they did their track testing with journalists and stuff like that, Tim Burton and Sport Auto Christian Gebhardt were both calling me saying, Robert, can we drive your car? Because you have a car before McLaren's even showing it to us. And it's like, I was just completely baffled, because I'm ranting and raving how much fun this thing is. And McLaren's like, oh, maybe we should invite some journalists over to look at this. And yeah, I think it was a huge letdown from a marketing marketing campaign, and it was disappointing. But
yeah, it was mind blowing.
Yeah, that's the way it is, because I think it could have been way more hyped and way more exciting for McLaren, and even for you guys, because it's just another McLaren. And you know what? This one actually has things in it that aren't just, okay, we'll put some fender louvers on it.
Yeah.
We'll call it LT and put a badge on it. This actually has things like motorsport suspension, adjustable wings, S-ducting through the front, tunable ride heights and stuff like that actually make it to where you want. I mean, I've spent my time dialing this car in and getting the way that it is for me perfect.
Yeah.
I go through a turn in the 675 LT at Ice Curva and the front end skips. I can't do anything about it.
No.
But with this, I can adjust the suspension and I can get that dialed in perfectly. And to me, that's what makes a track car a track car.
Yeah.
And that's something that a manufacturer should be hyping and promoting. To get that out of a Porsche GT2RS, I had to go to Manthey Racing. I had to get a full Manthey suspension in it to be able to adjust the suspension, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and this comes from factory.
And this comes from the factory like that.
Really quite impressive.
And that's something that, as a manufacturer, you got to promote the hell out of it and say, look what we're doing for you, you know? That's what AMG GTR did or AMG did with the GTR.
Yeah.
And then they took it out of the Black Series. You know, I would love the Black Series to have that. Now, obviously, is anyone going to argue that the Black Series shouldn't be a tremendously fast car? But for me, as a track-oriented person, I want the suspension from the AMG GTR. You know, so I think McLaren should have pumped this car. I think they should have pushed it harder. And I think you would have got a lot of track guys that would have been really excited about it.
Agreed. Agreed, yeah.
Guys,
that's it.
That's all the time we have for this one video. We're going to head back to camp now. I've got a really exciting video that I'm going to shoot tonight. It's about what I was doing in Florida last week. So be sure to check the channel out tomorrow. I'm really excited to share with you what I was doing. Tier 1 media shit right there.
Definitely not one to be missed, that's for sure.
You guys take it easy. Have a good one. Thank you so much for all the comments. We put up all the questions for this about 20 minutes before shooting it. And we have probably 100 questions.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these are awesome questions. We're going to have to make this a 5-part video. And I mean, it's amazing. You guys are making this channel. You're giving us all the content. I really, really appreciate that. Making Tom's job easy. Chop and drop.
Chop and drop nation. Let's go.
Take it easy, guys. Have a good one. We'll catch you later.
Bye-bye.